All right, welcome back. We are the People's Congress, and the People's Congress is in session. We're excited tonight to have a great show. There's a lot that we're doing. We have our congressmen and women in the House from all over the United States, and we have some great stories we're going to cover that impacts you, the middle class. We call it Mexit. It's about the middle class exiting, and part of that is getting knowledge to do just that. All right, tonight's big story comes from Maxine. She's the lead off story. Maxine, you got it.
Okay, well, listen. The new $3,000 child tax credit is going to payments will start in July. That's what the IRS is saying. And so what happens with that is that they not only do they're not going to send the $3,000 all at once. They're going to send it monthly. So you get about $300 each month. But at least they're going to be giving this $3,000, and it's ages 6 to 17 is what's going to be receiving it. And so, but you know what? Just a few weeks ago, IRS was not even sure if they were going to be able to even send this money. But we're so thankful that they are. But let's not get comfortable with that. Remember, as the middle class, we want to always be aware of what's going on and how are we going to use it? How are we going to invest? Or how are we going to make sure that it is going to be used for the children? Now, as I said, it's going to be happening between here now and July. So just be on the lookout for it. Just be on the lookout for it. So the most important thing is that, you know what? There are about 83 million children that live in households that will benefit from this. So it's just another way of, again, helping what has taken place with COVID and the delay in payments and so forth. But again, don't get too comfortable. Get yourself ready. Take advantages of a lot of these employment opportunities is happening so that you can supplement that $3,000 during this year.
All right. All right. Be responsible, middle class. Let's talk about it. What would you do, congressmen and women, if you had $3,000 in your pocket right now? So, and that's the important thing is we got to think about it so we can be about it. If you don't think about it, when it hits you, you're going to just do whatever you feel like. You got to have a plan. We talk about that here on the People's Congress with Mexit. You got to think through, you got to plan it so that you can protect yourself from making mistakes, the same mistakes that's keeping you where you are. All right, Adrian, what do you got?
First and foremost, you are not getting $3,000. I heard that. I heard her say that you was about to get $300 spread out over a long time. So I'm not sure if it even sounds the same because $3,000 sounds like you're doing something for me.
All right, hold up a second. Maxine, come on, Maxine.
That is,
if you say 3,000,
they're going to be getting a total of $3,000, but it's going to be dispersed $300 per month. So Adrian is correct.
I got you.
Let's face it, it's always the illusion. It's always the illusion. It implies as though you're getting a lump sum, but you're not. They're going to spread it out $300 per month.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Middle class. Look, middle class. I was listening. I was hearing that because at first I heard 3,000. I'm thinking, hallelujah. Then I heard it say 300. And I'm thinking, when is my next check coming?
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught that. I'm glad you caught that because when she said $3,000, everything else sounded like the daggone Charlie Brown teacher. Womp womp womp. Because all I heard was $3,000. No offense, Maxine, I love you, but after $3,000, I don't need to know nothing else. So I'm glad you caught it, sister, because I was about ready to get my daggone drink on for real though.
Now look, now my question to Maxine is this: it's a child credit, so that means you get 300 per child or 300 per family.
No, you're gonna get the 3,000. You will receive the 3,000, but it's a child tax credit. Then they're gonna start payments in July, so you're gonna receive $300 per month.
Okay, no, but I'm saying if you have two children, does that mean that you get double that?
Yes, it is per child from 6 to 17. So they have to be in the age group, and let's see, ages 6 to 17. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. So Marquis is gonna be happy. He get double for his trouble.
I was gonna say, so everyone that has like the multiple children, they may benefit immensely depending on how many multiples you actually have in your house. This sounds like more like the more the better. You know, like if you only have one, you might have to figure that out because your 300 is going to be gone before you even know it. Because believe it or not, the
It's
price
300
of
more
milk
than you
is
had.
going up.
But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The
maybe if
biggest
you
thing.
have 4 kids, then you're looking at an extra $1,200 sitting in your account. So
now
then it
that can do
becomes
something.
something different, right? Now, then it becomes like, oh, okay, they're doing what? But then I'm like Maxine when it comes down to, because we are getting this, you have to start to ask yourself why. Things can't be that good if things are really that bad.
Wow.
Because we
Wow.
know that you're looking at something and you're living in a that bad situation. Don't keep letting people keep throwing money at us and say, we're making everything better, because what they're doing is they're trying to tell us that money is the answer, is the end all be all. And we already know that that is actually the biggest trick that we have to worry about.
All right, middle class, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because you bring up a really good point. We don't want to go negative on every issue, but that's a really, really good point. Now, we want to slow down and we want to talk about that because when you give people money, sometimes they do. Well, I mean, Marquis said it earlier. You said 3,000. I just blacked out. Like, that's all I need to know. Give me my check. Like, when is that coming? That it creates that. So let's talk about that. What are the pros and cons of that?
You know what, Steve, the best thing that you said was earlier was that you have to plan for the money, because if you don't plan, that money's just going to go to buying Smurf buckets. I mean, it's going to go to anything. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna go to anything. You're gonna be like,
true.
you know what? I want extra cheese on that burger. You know, it's gonna go on anything. But
Yeah.
if you take that money and you account for it and you put that money aside, or if you give it an actionable thing to do, like work for you, then at the end of that cycle, you can see that lump sum plus whatever interest that it gained, or you could see a product that you built with that money. So
Right.
I would encourage everybody to come on over, get your education, use the money wisely. At the end of the cycle, you will have more education and you will have an opportunity to build upon what you've learned.
All right. This moment is brought to you by ATS, the place to go to get educated. Make sure you come and get connected, get educated. We have tons of courses for everyone. I mean, we got Bitcoin, we got finances, we got real estate, whatever you need. We probably already got a course for that. So you got to get locked into ATS, and we're thankful that you're joining us tonight on today on the People's Congress. We are Mexit, middle class exit. And the way you do that is by getting educated, right? Getting educated. So let's see, I saw somebody raise their hand. They wanted to get in. All right, Maxine.
Okay, so the other thing about this, you know, there's got to be a flip, right? You know, it's going to pertain to those who make at least $75,000 or less, or no more than $150,000 for married couples.
Okay.
Again, affecting what? The middle class.
Yeah, that's dead in right in the center of middle class.
Right in the middle. And so I wanted to make sure I brought that out because that's what we do. That's why we're talking about this. Mm-hmm. How is it going to affect the middle class? And again, you got those restrictions, not only age for the children, but now you have the annual salary.
Right. Okay. Now there's a limit on the age for the children. That's the first time I heard that.
Right.
Do you know that what the ages are?
Up to 17.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. So living in the household, basically.
Right. Basically.
Okay. Yeah. Got you. Except for the boomerang kids that come back, when they're in their 20s and 30s. All right. So, So what else? What else we got on that subject about middle class getting $3,000 stretched out over time, $300 per month?
Well, one thing we got to do, guys, we got to talk about the human side of all this, and a lot of it was already mentioned too as well. I wrote down some notes as Maxine was talking and Marquis was talking. First of all, people want to spend it all, get it all at one time. That's one reason why they don't give it to you at all at one time, because it's going to be gone in like an hour in most cases. So that's one thing. Also, too, we don't want people to spend it before they even get it. I think Adrian was kind of going along with that area. You know it's coming, but you already got to spend and only have it. So we really want to encourage people to think about it, the strategy, the planning. Come on, guys, plan this out as well. So we don't want you to spend it before you even get it. And somebody mentioned about a budget. Come on now, let's budget that right in there. Now, also, too, guys, we got to talk about a potential solution. Now, I'm not a CPA. I'm just saying you could take some of that money and get yourself a mutual fund, folks, and have a good time with that. So anyway, we got some people in our network that can help you with that are licensed for that. But that's what I do. I've got a mutual fund, and it's doing very well, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to just let y'all know, plan your work and work your plan. Thank you so much.
Good. That's good. Now, that's good advice. What we're going to do, and you know how I do, I just make up shows. So we're going to do a show on finances because of some of those terms you said, the middle class needs to learn. They need to get that. And we're going to elevate them with that knowledge on a future show. So, Jerome, you said it looked like you had something.
Yeah, I did. This money falls on the stimulus package, and one of the things that we really need to understand, and I'm glad we're in this organization. I'm glad we're Mexican because we're trying to educate the middle class on how to get out of it. But we need to understand that our government is not expecting us to save this money. Our government is not expecting us to invest this money. Our government is not expecting us to set this money aside and to use it wisely. Our government is expecting us to take this money and to go out and spend it and stimulate the economy, to stimulate companies and businesses. Unfortunately, if we do that, the economy will improve, but we'll stay broke.
Come on now. Woo! I think you hit a Mexican moment so quick. That is a Mexican moment brought to you by Jerome Red. All right. All right.
Can I just get one real quick?
Go ahead. Get in there.
Make sure you don't be out here trying to have no babies so you can get in there on this extra money that they talking about is about to come out.
That's right.
I just don't think we might have had to put it out there. Put it in the air. Just in case nobody ain't said that. Don't you go have no baby talking about they gonna give me extra money.
Yeah.
For this baby.
Yeah, the baby has to be from pamper wearing to 17. That's the criteria right there. All right. So we want to make sure we understand that. I do want to I want to talk about a little bit the plan. So I feel like we really need to take a second to talk about the plan. And I want to hear from some of the panelists that haven't spoken. We're going to go to Telly, then Vicky. I want you guys to talk about $300. What is some advice you could give to someone that's getting $300 from this plan?
Well, I would definitely think about a savings account of some sort, especially for the child in question. I remember in one of the other shows we talked about just having provision for your child. And, I'm always talking about how college wasn't worth it. So maybe having savings for, again, vocation, trade school, or, if they have a plan to where they want to start their business when they leave high school. So saving, looking at the future, because as we mentioned, the money is definitely intended for right now. And you see that, like, you see people out. I mean, 1 minute we're crying about a pandemic, but everybody is everywhere. I'm like, y'all are just everywhere. Like, go home or do something else. So plan for the future, not for right now. Good
advice. All right, Vicky.
I mean, Telly pretty much just said it all. I don't really have anything. That was pretty incredible. I mean, save, you know what I mean? If you've got $300, I mean, and plan. That's what I heard, save and plan. And so, I mean, I have nothing better to add to that. I think I'm just going to snaps on that.
That's good. All right. So this is what I want to do. This is what we're going to do. Let's just say we're in a community together. We know we all get $300. I want y'all to think, and we're going to do this for the middle class. This is an exercise because this is what happened to me literally today. A millennial came to me, a really good friend of mine named Charles, and he was telling me about cryptocurrency. He said, I've been wondering about cryptocurrency, and I think that's something I need to get into. And I was actually asking him because he's going he's leaving to go to another state to live and start a new job and everything. And I really love this brother. He's a good guy. And I said, look, if you need any money, just let me know. You got my number. If you need anything, anytime, call me. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of guy I am. So then the conversation went to what he's going to do. And then he was like, the cryptocurrency, I think is something I need to get into. And I decided that I was going to go ahead and do that before I left. I said, you did? He said, yeah. He said, I went ahead and bought $1,400 worth. You could have bought me for a penny. I'm trying to get this man some money. He done dropped $1,400 on cryptocurrency. I was like, can you go buy $1,400 for me? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So there are people who are planning, who are thinking, right? So I want us to do a little experiment. You got $300 and you know it's coming every month. How can you take that money, not save it? Because we already talked about saving, so that's one option. How do you flip that money? How do you have that money make money for you? What's some ideas?
Real estate.
What can you do with $300 with real estate?
I could I could definitely take a course in real estate to learn how to make money and how to work with investors,
Okay.
like I'm doing now. And it didn't take that much money. It
Yeah.
didn't take that much money at all. I mean, once you get the ball rolling with the education, you're going to have more people come to you with more education, and you really are not going to spend that much money if you learn what you need to learn and ask the right questions. And that's the key. You have to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who actually know more than you do, and who are not afraid to share information.
That sounds like me. That sounds like somebody we know, Antonio T. Smith Jr., ATS. And for the low price of less than $100, you too can take a real estate class through ATS. Let's go. All right, next person.
Okay.
Yes, powerful. Go ahead, Maxine. Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm going to, of course, encourage them to, as you just said, development.
Yeah.
Develop yourself. I mean, look
Absolutely.
at your skill set. Look if there are some gap areas that you know that you need to bridge that gap area that's going to propel you and move you forward. That's another way of thinking. And with the children, with the parents, hey, let's start looking at what do we need to do for the children? What courses do we need to put them in? Let's look at their gifts. Let's start, developing that gift even further. That's just some of the things to think about. Of course, with me doing the ability assessment, I'm always talking about invest in that so that child would understand, one, the learning styles is a part of it. And two, what career path should they be taking based on what they're already gifted at doing?
Wow, that's good. You know what? This is a good time to do this. Why don't you guys flip to your websites? Look, if you guys are looking for an assessment for your student or yourself, make sure you call Maxine Phillips. Reach out to her at leveliscode.com. Put up your websites, guys, while we're moving through this. And we're going to do introductions in just a second. Someone else, was it Jerome? Jerome, you had something?
No.
Okay, good. Now, look, I want to tell you something about, I'll come to you in just a second, Adrian. I want to tell you about a lady in my neighborhood that she taught me how to flip money. All right, what she did was, you guys ever had the frozen icy cups in the styrofoam? The Kool-Aid frozen in the cups? Right? So I remember one day when I went to her house, I looked into her freezer, her deep freezer. She had about 150, 200 ices frozen.
Yeah.
Now, if you sell that at $1 each, that's $200. Guess what? She made that with Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You can buy 10 packs of Kool-Aid for like $1.50. Okay? And some sugar. So the cost of the Kool-Aid packs and the sugar, she made $200 per freezer. So when you talk about flipping money, there's a way to do it and do it legally. You know what I'm saying? So there's options out there. And I'm just saying, we got to look at everything that's out here that can help you and your family. You might have different giftings, different things you can do. But we want to hear from you. What are the things you're doing? What's your side hustle? Matter of fact, you know what? We want you to post that. Let us know what your side hustle is. Give us your website and let us support you. Because here at the People's Congress and ATS, we believe in one thing, and that is what? Group economics. Group economics. If you got something we need to buy, guess what? We need to buy it. And if we don't need it for ourselves, we need to buy it for somebody else and support you. All right. All right. So does anybody have anything else they want to talk about that $300?
Absolutely.
I got a flip.
Maybe Adrian had something. Go ahead, Adrian.
I was gonna say I got a flip now. If you're getting $300 and if it's a corner start, now if it was to come right now, that would say you go to the dollar store, a Family Dollar per se, the one that would give you the nicer of the nicer. You go in and you find something of quality. If you see something in the home decor realms or whatever, and then you can literally either sell these products, right? Or actually have raffles and drawings and say that for Mother's Day, you're going to raffle this one off, and then next month you get it for Father's Day. And whatever sometimes you got to make them up. You know, if you're gonna, this is how you can constantly flip. But if you're, you know, flipping, saving, you're not only, you know, helping someone, but you're not also just running around. And also another good way to do it is just to find something small to invest in. Because remember that it's really not your money. So if you never really had it to begin with, you really didn't have it. So now that they're giving it to you, it's extra, but you've already been making it without it. Truth be told. So now the money that you have, now you can invest it in something. And instead of saying you only have $10 to invest, you really know you can at least do 200 of it because all 300 wasn't even yours.
That's good. Now I want to add to something you said earlier because I think it's a great idea. Go to the dollar store and find some items, and you know what you can do? You can find little foil painting, get you a brush, and you can just brush on there a scripture, or you can brush a positive saying or positive word, and you can paint that, or you can get the little stickers and stick them on there, and you can sell them. And you can do it around holidays. You know, we got tons of holidays throughout the year, and so you can do different ideas like that. For $1, that's what you bought it for, but you can sell it for 5-10 times as much if you make it really look nice. And people who you buy from will consistently buy from you if you keep creating those kind of small trinkets. There's another thing I want to do, and I want to put this out there to the middle class. Why don't you do a $100 challenge for your kids or the kids in the neighborhood? A $100 challenge. And what you do is you give each one of them $10. Get 10 kids, or you got 2 kids, give each one of them $50 and say, I want you to show me how you're going to take this money and increase it. I want you to, and I'm gonna give you a couple of ideas. I want you to even Google how to flip $50 or $100. And I'm gonna challenge you. And if you show me you can flip this money, that you can get an increase off this money, I'm gonna give you double that back to do the next time. And just get them into the mindset that I can actually make money by creating with my own mind an idea, and then people will buy it from me. Yes, who had that? Who had that finger up?
That's a really good idea, Steve.
Yeah. So now this is the question. The question is this legal? Is it legal? If it's your child, it's legal. You know why? Because you can put your child at the end of your property with a lemonade stand. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things within your family you can do because it's a family project. It's not like you're trying to go into business. It's just they're trying to sell some items, right? Now, if you're gonna make some real money, you definitely want to get set up under, you know, an LLC or an S corp. You want your parents to help you structure that. But even that process lifts the middle class up again. Even just them learning how to do this, and now the next step, we're making a little bit of money. Now, the next, very good point, Maxine. Thank you. The next step is that we got to legalize this thing. We want to make sure we're paying our taxes, we're putting stuff in savings, and then you begin this process of elevating them and educating them so that they can empower the next generation. All right. So who has something next?
Absolutely, man. You know, I had to jump in on this because I love this conversation tonight because we're talking about strategy. We're talking about planning, ladies and gentlemen, for the future for our children. Let's talk about that $300. Hey, guess what? You can take that $300. It's already kind of mentioned that you can invest that into their education. We're talking about getting them some books that they need, right? For their area of interest that mom and dad determine, right? They may have to buy a book to get ready for that particular subject. How about this? They can even get a certification, guys, at the right age. They can get certified in a certain area and get ready for that too, as well, with that $300. They can get ready for the
age they are. They don't have to be older. They can do it now.
Exactly. So there's a lot of opportunity there. The goal is to plan their future step by step. And when they get out of this, you know, as far as the schooling, they're ready to go right into the system or start their own business, guys. It's amazing when they get ready. But so use that $300 to make it up to $30,000 a month.
Come on now.
Isn't that powerful? That's what I'm talking about.
Let's do that. All right. So look. So then what I would do with that is I would give them a budget. And I would take them to a place like Books A Million or Barnes & Noble. Someplace you got a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I would tell them, look, this is your challenge today. I make it a game.
Yeah.
This is your challenge today. Find you a book about something you love. I'm giving you 15 minutes.
Yep.
Find a book, something you love that you're going to read from front to back and show me that you love it. I'm going to buy that book for you today. Go. Yeah. Have a run and do it. Now, this is something I did with my kids. There was a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if you guys have seen that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, there was one for kids.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki. And I wanted my kids to read the book, but I didn't want to make them read the book.
Right.
I wanted them to read the book. Right. So imagine I bought the book and I slid money in the back of the book.
Right.
And I put the book down and said, I want y'all to read this book. Left it there. Neither one of them ever read that book.
Right.
Had they read the book, I'm not gonna tell y'all the amount, but had they read that book, that money was sitting inside that book waiting for them.
That was good.
My
right?
Lord.
So that's the kind of stuff we got to do. And I probably, now that I think about it, I probably should have put the money in the front of the book to incentivize them that if you read it, I'll give you double that at the end of the book. Now that I think about it, because I really wanted them to not just learn the lesson, but I wanted them to read the book. Right. So, all right. So,
sounds like the Kevin Hart story where his mother put all of his rent money in the Bible.
In the Bible, yeah.
She kept asking him, had you read your Bible? Had you read your Bible? And he felt so stupid because all of his rent checks were for the whole year were in the Bible, but he never read the Bible. And the comment that Kevin had made, and Kevin, you're really on the money with the education and the books, because what went through my mind when you said that, and I know each one of us can relate to this. In our society today, we talk about the importance of education. We tell our children to do well in school, and they do, and they graduate from high school. And then when it's time to go to college, they don't know what they want to do. They don't know what they want to major in, but they're spending your money or student loan money to go to college. And then after they've been there a semester or a year or two, then they change. And then by the time they graduate, that's not what I really want to do. And then they got to go take some more classes. But if you start them now in different fields and in different areas, when it doesn't cost that much, they can go, I like this. Oh, no, this sucks. I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. And it costs you a whole lot less money now than it will when they're 18, 19, and 20 years old.
Come on now. That's good. Boy, you are the Mexican man. He is working it out. Go ahead, bro.
It's because I'm here.
There we go.
You're in the box. It happens to you.
There we go. So let me tell you what I did to my son. I did this to our children. I told them that I'm not paying for college. And they were like in middle school. I told them, I said, I'm not. And I would say it around other parents. People have discussion like, yeah, you going to college? And I'm like, yeah, they're going, but I ain't paying for it. I ain't paying a penny for college. And I just kept saying it. So by the time we got to, and what I would say is I'm not paying for their college because of the reasons you said. I'm not paying for their college, but when they get out, when they want to start a company, I will be the first to give them the money to start their company. So that's kind of the way I balance that out. So I told my son when he was in the 11th grade, he's a math science kid. He was taking some college level courses and I needed him to focus. And I was like, okay, because I can't help you in school because I don't know nothing they're teaching you. So you have to figure that out. So I told him, I said, look, if you get straight A's the whole year, I'll buy you a car. Because that's what he wanted. And when, as a parent, if you can tie the reward that they want into the thing you need from them, they'll be self-motivated to achieve that goal. That's the concept. So I told him, I said, if you get straight A's the whole year, I'll buy you a car. Guess what he got? Straight A's the whole year. Now, let me tell you what that did. It made me owe him a car, number one. So that, okay, I said it. But look, what it really did for him, he got to the 12th grade. He passed the 12th grade. He was the number 7 student in his class, the top ranking African-American male. And he got a full ride scholarship to UNC Chapel Hill. And I didn't have to pay for college. Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you do that. That's how you do that. So yeah, we got to be wise about it and help our kids understand.
But you said a great point that you have to tie the reward with it. Yeah. And that way the incentive is for them and they have the desire, the motivation, and everything else that goes along with it. And middle class, that's what we must continue to do. We can't just start it. We have to continue to do it. It should be an ongoing thing. And this is how we start bridging that generational gap. You know, we talk about there's not going to be enough money left to the next generation. This is the way we can break that. We can stop that cycle.
Yeah, and the other thing too is you got to think about this. This will help the middle class right here. Stop buying your kids shoes and clothes and electronics and all these gadgets. Stop it. Stop it. Because you need your kids to grow up with the right reality. So now what we're going to do, because you're in the middle class that's exiting that thought, now what we're going to do, as soon as your kid said, I want this, you say, really? Let me think about it. I'll get back to you. And every time they hear you say that, they know what's coming. What's coming is a plan to help them get what they're asking for. You're not just going to buy it because I love my kids, I'm gonna go buy. No, that's not what you had to work to get the money. They need to work to get the money. So what you're going to do is you're going to think through that thing. You're going to say, okay, my kid wants X. Okay, now I see when I can buy it. All right, that's the timeline. So this is what I'm going to do. This is the thing I need them to do for me in my house, in my community, in my school. All right, if they're good in the house, they're doing their chores, they're respectful, great. Well, you know what? In the community, I'm going to need you to go on Saturday and help Miss Johnson cut her grass. I'm going to need you to go and deliver food with your uncle. You know, he going out every weekend. He need people to carry them packages, right? Think through, how can I get my kid motivated to help build up the community? And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that they are conscious of the fact that I'm earning the thing I want, right? And if they go, can't you just give it to me? You say no, because when I go to work, they don't just give me money. I got to give them time. I got to give them work. Then they pay me. So I'm just treating you the same way I'm treated. They might not like it at the beginning, but they're learning a valuable lesson that in this world, you got to work for what you want. It's not just going to be given to you.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the reality is you can work for what you want. Nobody has to give you instructions. You can figure it out for yourself. By the way, Adrian, your hair looks fabulous tonight. Just want to let you know you are doing it, girl. All right. All right. So,
and Stephen, that's the only way to do it. The work. Keep that in mind. That's the key. All of us here have worked. That is a given. You got to work, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, you got billionaires saying they ain't leaving nothing to their family members because they ain't earned it. So you got to earn it. So
Warren Buffett said that.
That's what I'm saying, man. So
money, and he took half of his money and gave it to Bill Gates, the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation while he's alive. And he said, I am not leaving any of this money for my family. Why? Because they didn't earn it. They don't know what to do with it, and it would destroy my family. So that's just amazing. That's coming from Warren Buffett. He's probably going to just get arrested charity before he dies. All right. So let's see who we're going to go to next story. We're going to go ahead. Go ahead, Marquis.
Well, I wanted to throw in a little extra sauce, if you will.
What kind of sauce is that?
This is the good stuff. But,
all right,
but
give us the good stuff, baby.
Anyway, I listen, man. The biggest thing that we're talking about here is mindset. And if you do not have the proper mindset, you can't tie your shoe. So one of the best ideas that I've heard about setting a mindset, you got to get them early. That's why when you see these new trends, regardless of what it is, they always go after the young people. When I was a kid, click it a ticket. In my day, you didn't have to wear a seatbelt. And then when I was coming up, all of a sudden seatbelt laws changed and the kids were educated and we started talking to the parents about, hey, you might want to do this.
Because they taught you from school. They were actually teaching you something in school back then. Yeah, that's
exactly right. But here's the idea. Going into a comic book store with a bunch of, 4, 5, 6-year-old kids, they're already excited because they're looking at their superheroes and they're there in the house with the superheroes. And what I found interesting is that when you can correlate somebody like Batman, somebody like Iron Man who has money, you can then teach the young people about annuities, IRAs. You can teach them about real estate. You can teach them about credit cards. You can teach them about automobiles. You can say, hey, Batman has a certain piece of equipment that he needs X, Y, Z, and how much you think he's going to pay for it. I mean, you can introduce to the youth, to the very young people, the idea of money management at a very young age through the interest that they have, which is like something as simple as superheroes.
All right, and now look, you got me. Go ahead. And then what?
Well, you're setting the mindset without putting pressure on them. They're already open to the idea of just being there, and you can just slide this in as an undercurrent.
All right, so this is how my gift works. See, now my gift is flowing. Let me tell y'all what just went through my head.
I already know.
Antonio T. Smith Jr., if you're watching this is from the People's Congress. We want to work on this project, okay? It is the People's Congress Hero Academy. The People's Congress Hero Academy. And the first part of the academy is the financial arm. We want to create a board game and a game to teach kids exactly what Marquis just said, because that's how we empower them, is by using the games to teach them the principles and then help them apply the principles in real life. That's what the People Congress does. Come on. That's what we're going to do. That's a great idea.
That is
That's
awesome.
the first multi-million idea from the People's Congress, and we all will get paid off of that.
That is awesome. And I'm telling you, this is coming from a place where I've seen kids tear each other down for being smart. And we have to get out of the mindset that it's a bad thing to be smart, that, oh, you know, you get too much attention because you're smart, and so therefore nobody wants to speak up because they don't want to be the one getting ridiculed. Why don't we all encourage the smarts so that we all can lift one another up? We all can raise our hand when the teacher call on us.
All right, so let's talk about the middle class, because that right there, I've seen that issue, and there is a solution, and let's talk through the solution, because what they're doing currently is the problem. They're saying, hey, look, these 2 or 3 in the class are smart. Why can't you guys be smart like them? And instantly you divide the class, and they're gonna get beat up. All right, so this is my solution, and I want to hear from you. This is what I would do. I would take that smart kid, and I would take that biggest bullying kid in the class, and I would take them both aside and give them a project and tell them, this is what I want y'all to do. Figure out how to use his smarts and your smarts that you haven't even discovered yet, and create something where you can make money together. And then I would help them see how together they can do it. And this is outside the class. And then once we got that idea solid and we tried out, they would present in front of the class what they did. Now, that kid that was the bully is now empowered by knowledge. And guess what he is? He is now the champion for that kid that was getting beat up. And he's saying, you better stay away from this dude. This is my dude right here. We making money. Then his little clique is like, look, get us down with that. How we get some of that? I said, you guys are going on trips and eating out, getting pizza parties. How do we get in? Then you invite the whole crew in. Now you got a solid class and everybody's risen to the same level. That's how you do that. All right.
You're bringing tears to my eyes.
All right.
I mean, look, that right there is fire.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fire.
Powerful.
I mean, you know, I might have to take a break and just clean my eyes.
Hey, matter of fact, guys, I want to give you guys just a quick caveat. Y'all don't give all your stuff out right now. Some of the stuff's top secret. Don't give it all out.
That's all right. Look, ATS, one thing about ATS is we moving full speed ahead. By the time they see us, we're going to be gone. So they don't hear it. We're already working on it. It's already done.
It's already done.
That's what we're about. Hey, Vicky, I want to ask you a question. Oh, go ahead, Adrian. And then I'll go to Vicky. I want to ask you a question about her kids. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's already done. Everything that you guys are speaking is great. I haven't been in the classroom since 2008, but I will tell you that in 2008, if you were smart, you were getting beat up for asking questions. You were getting beat up for just wanting to know more. So what you're saying is definitely true. It's 2021 now. I think that most kids, like, the kids have changed because of the virtual learning. They actually like school again because they actually got involved in the actual lesson and not so much of the bullying and everything else. But when it comes down to putting it together, Steve, you got something there. Because you always take your worst to teach it. And then that's the best. And if someone could hear that right there, that is love. You just fixed a lot of situations.
Come on, let's go. Now we got to help the teachers teach, right? This is the whole concept is middle class. We're not about sending our kids to school for 8 hours and having the teacher have to handle our own children. We're going to partner with the teachers to see what we can do. Now, look, we all work, but guess what? If I got kids, they're my kids, so they're my responsibility. I should be thankful to the teacher for helping me elevate my children's minds for 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? Most parents don't even talk to their kids for more than an hour combined in a day. All right. Imagine having them those beautiful little children for 8 hours. All right. So now Vicky's in Podium REA. She works with youth all the time. So what's the power of taking a kid who comes from the inner city into your program and may be a little hesitant at first and then take them through that process of learning? And what happens when they finally get it and come alive?
Well, I mean, it's a really beautiful, transformative process to be a part of. I mean, you start out, not sure of yourself, of what you're saying, not sure that you even, like communication or getting your word out to other people. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, especially with Podium, because we focus on writing, communication, literacy. So it's all about the communication, all about writing down how you feel and sharing it with others. And so you start out, you know, young folks not feeling confident in themselves, and all of a sudden they get that safe, supportive space, that mentorship. And then all of a sudden, you know, maybe it's, you know, hey, Miss Vicky, will you read my piece for me? You know, and so maybe you read, you know, their piece that next week, and then you say, hey, you know what, but it sounds so much better when you do it, right? Because it's your words, it's your story. So I could read it, you know, but I did that last week, you know, let's do something new this week. And so it's just, you know, it's a process, it's a relationship building, you know, it's not just all right, we're going to learn this lesson and move on. It's all right, I'm going to meet you where you are, you know, and if you're, you know, if you're still in that process, then let's work together. And so it's so beautiful to just see at the end of the, you know, at the end of the program, at the end of the quarter, whatever when you're working with your young folks, you know, just to see, maybe they started out, I'm not sure, you know, and then at the end, you know, they're first to raise their hand and say, hey, you know, I want to read my story. Hey, maybe I wrote something outside of this program and I want to bring it in and share it. And so, like I said, transformation, you know, that's really what that empowerment, right? Exactly. I'm going the wrong way, Kevin. I'm backwards. I'm still backwards in the virtual world, but no, absolutely.
And then you know what happens to an empowered kid? They empower other kids. You know, I learned that in elementary school. When I went to Baker Elementary School. Matter of fact, Marquise went to Baker Elementary School. I went to Baker Elementary School, and in my class, I made sure that everybody was empowered. Like, I'm not having no idiot come in my class trying to roll nothing. If there's gonna be a bully, it's gonna be me, and I'm gonna be the superhero of my classroom, right?
And he was.
Go ahead. So, and look, because as a kid, I could see people around me that were examples because they had knowledge that they would share with me. I mean, I had people who would speak into my life to make me feel good. So when I came to other people's lives, I wanted them to feel good, right? So that's what we want to do, is we want to have our kids get so confident within themselves. Like Maxine, when they go through her course and they start getting that assessment, they come in blind to who they are and what their abilities are. When they come out, they're transformed. They're like, man, I didn't even know all that was in me. Now they can be empowered to do something. And I think that's how we transition, even having our kids exit that middle class thinking. We got to deprogram them, is what it comes down to. We have to deprogram them and get in the position to be empowered. Why do you think that Marquise has sons that has a company where they're making the good sauce? That didn't happen because they just were like, one day, hey, I'll make good sauce. No, they have a father who's been in business for so long. They're like, if my father's doing it, or if my mother's doing it, or if my cousins and aunts and uncles are doing it, I can do it. And they have somebody they can ask questions to, right? So that's what we want to do, is get in the position that we empower them through even the little bit of knowledge that you have can empower other people. My mom sat me down one day. She said, she was sewing something up, and she said, you know, I want to teach you to sew. And I was like, what? I was like maybe 12 years old. I'm like, what? Sew? And I was like, why? She's like, because you need to know. I'm like, I don't need to know. She said, look, when you get married one day, if your wife doesn't know how to sew, then who's gonna sew this button on your shirt? Let me show you how to sew. I sat down, learned how to sew, and guess who's sewing for my family? This guy right here, because my wife does not know how to sew. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta give the knowledge that we have. All right, so we want to right now. Let's go into introductions. We're almost at the halfway point, so let's start off with the Let's Think, Change, Grow man. What you got, Draw?
Folks, I'm a CEO of Let's Think, Change, Grow, and in our company, that's exactly what we do, folks. We help you to think, to change, and to grow, and maximize your greatness. Hey.
That's good. Maximize your greatness. Love that. All right. The one in the Mexican Square. Kevin, what you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, welcome to your future. This is Kevin Vaughan, CEO and founder of the MLT Network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a global network. And guess what? The bet is on you. What is the bet? The bet is we deal in business, education, training, and technology. We're excited about that. Go to MLTnetworks.net, MLTnetworks.net, out of the metro Atlanta area, Kennesaw, Georgia. Thank you so much.
All right. It took me a second to understand what you meant by bet, but you wrote out that acronym really nicely, sir. Appreciate that. Elevating people. Marquise with the good stuff sauce.
Yes, sir. I am Marquise Washington, coming straight out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I am the marketing director for the upstart company called DMW Enterprise. which produces a sauce called the Good Stuff, created from the mind and taste buds of my son, David, who is 16 in a few weeks. If you ever tried it, you're going to be licking all day long. So you'll see it is coming.
That's what's up. All right, Vicky.
Hey everybody, I'm Vicky Arroyan, the Executive Director of Podium RVA. We do writing, communication, leadership programs for our middle schoolers, for our high schoolers, for our recent graduates. So, come visit us at www.podiumrva.org.
All right, and they got a poetry competition coming up. Make sure we talk about that before we finish the day, Vicky. All right, Telly, Yema Telly Corshi.
Good evening, America. This is Yemo Telly Kwashi, recent transplant to Long Island, New York. I am aspiring to become a business owner and currently pursuing a career in social advocacy.
That's what's up. All right, Adrian. Uh-oh, are you there? All right, Maxine, we're gonna go to Maxine and then we'll come back to Adrian. Go ahead, Ed.
Hello, everyone. The Levelist Woman coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. I am the CEO, that's the Chief Education Officer, where I help individuals to understand their natural abilities so they can map that into their life, their career, and their profession.
All right. Misunderstood Adrian, are you there?
I am Misunderstood Adrian, the CEO of IMA Industry. We are the climate and culture specialists. We are coming anywhere, anything to do anything to guarantee that we can change it. I'm also an author of a book called Surviving Tough Times. On your march, get set, go. We can do this thing. We got to do this thing together.
All right, and I am Stephen Walker, CEO of Manifest Media, graphic designs, branding, and business consulting. You can see us at mypurposemypower.com, mypower.com. If you're just now joining us, we are the People's Congress and brought to you by ATS, the only place you can go to get educated for less than $100 a month and get your certifications that you need. And we are part of Mexit Middle Class Exit. We're exiting by empowering and educating people and inspiring people to learn what they need to learn so they can go where they need to go, which is the exit out of middle class. Yeah. All right, so we're going to jump to Telly. Telly, you got the next story. What's going on?
There's so many good ones. We're going to go with the Tennessee woman who recently just got vaccinated, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. To be exact, is still pushing for the public to be vaccinated. I know, very interesting. She had several blood clots as a result of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which has been in the news as of late for
that has been in the news.
Effects.
Okay.
Yes. And actually they paused the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because of the adverse effects. And she was unable to walk for a week, but it's still saying it is imperative for the public to be vaccinated. Well, I personally disagree. I think that this push for vaccination is not fair on the public. It's very interesting that all of a sudden the government really cares about our health when we have the FDA approving and not approving for additives and just weird things to be put in our food and just our basic household things. So now all of a sudden you care about my health. I need to get vaccinated. We're in this together. No. Whenever I think of this major push or this vaccination era that we're in, I always think of the syphilis, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Yeah. And that's essentially what is being played out, if you ask me. Okay. They're telling you one thing, but there are a whole bunch of other adverse effects that they're not stating. And again, we spoke yesterday on our show about being a self-advocate, advocating for yourself. So you should do what is best for yourself. Now, I don't know about this Tennessee woman. She will definitely be in my prayers, but there is no way that I'm going to get vaccinated and have clots and can't walk and still say the vaccine is where it's at. So America, do what is best for yourself, not what is propagated. This is the whole reason, one of the major reasons why we started this program is to exit the middle class, exit that mindset. Don't let, and I repeat, do not let the media and all of their falsehoods force you or try to coerce you to get involved in this big experiment that they have running around.
All right, so we're going to jump to Marquis, but I did want to say right here that we know that within our audience there are people who are on both sides of this issue. So what we want to do is talk about both sides of the issue. We're not going to just take one side or the other. We do want to look at both sides because our audience is made up of both people. But go ahead, Marquis, what do you got?
Well, I wanted to add to that. The Pfizer CEO, Albert Bourla, I believe his name is, says that you're going to need a third dose, more than likely, between 6 to 12 months from now to combat the variants of the COVID strain. And from there, I believe it's going to be an annual revaccination, just like the common flu, which we haven't heard about in a while. I'm just saying. Also, Fauci, I believe, said that as well. He said it's going to protect us against the virus that you have a 99.7% survival rate from. Don't get me started on it. I don't like this. I don't like having 1, 2, 3, 4 and an annual shot. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm with Telly on that one. However, people are getting sick, and that's kind of being swept underneath of the carpet from those who are having damaging effects. My biggest problem is you can't sue anybody. And so when you can't sue anybody and they're pushing this on you, red flags go up in my head. I'm like, wait, hey, hold on. And the bottom line is this is an experimental vaccine. I'm not going there. Sorry.
All right. So I'm going to go to Adrian right next, but I do want to say here that there are people who are taking the vaccines, and by choice, they're taking the vaccines, and that's what we want it to be, a choice. No one should be made to take anything because it's your body. So you should be able to choose what you want to do with your body, right? So we don't want to take that position where we want to force people to take it or not to take it. It's your choice. You should be, if you're an adult, you should be able to make that decision. If you have children, you should be able to make that decision for your children too. And there are people who are taking the vaccines and they have no effects, no side effects. And there are people who are taking them that are having severe side effects. But both of those stories need to be told so that people are educated, can make an educated decision. All right, Adrian, what you got?
Well, I want to say that I would agree. But then I have to be honest and say I have multiple sclerosis. And supposedly they say that I'm one of, those people that need to be vaccinated so that I don't get sick and everything. Knock on everything, but it don't need to be a knock per se, because I have not been yet sick, unless it has been a sick and I just didn't know it was a sick. So there's a difference in it, because how you think you're sick, I might have been sick for the last 15 years. Everything that they say is sick now are my symptoms that I have every day with multiple sclerosis. So my question is, are now you that sick that now they just made you as sick as I am? So you don't need to take medicine because now we're all sick, right? Because you just weren't sick before, but I've been sick. So I don't know, do I need to take the So when you're getting into dealing with taking something or not taking it, you have to take it. This is going to make you feel better.
Okay. So now look, there is some recourse though. There's some protections in place. If you go to law.lis.virginia.gov just to see an example of this, you can find it for your own state. I was looking this up today, and there are exemptions from immunization requirements. It is 12 BAC 5-110-80, and it says that religious and medical exemptions. There are religious and medical exemptions that you can take, and there's no certification of immunization shall be required of any student for admission to school based on that as well. So I would say for you to get informed, and I have a lot more on that I've looked for, but there's a form CRE-1, CRE-1 that you can look to download. There's PDFs online, and you can get you got to have a notary public sign it, and then you're exempted because of religious or medical issues.
Right. Yes, powerful.
But what if I just don't want to get it? But see, if I just don't want to get it, I should still have the right to just not want to get it.
Yeah, if you have a medical issue like you just mentioned, that form signed by your doctor exempts you from that.
Oh well, no, but those are the people that the same people that you would get the exemption from are the people that are offering you and telling you that you need to take the medicine.
That's a great point. All right, so let's go there. Since you said that, let's go there. I wasn't going to get into that today, but let's go there. So I actually found this, and this was really interesting. It says there's some questions that you can ask the physician. You never say, I'm not getting the vaccine. Never take that position, because then you're opposing what the government is trying to do. Now, if you do that, then you got an issue. What you do is you ask questions, right? So we let's get into this a little bit. All right. So what you can do is you can ask the questions, and I probably shouldn't get into it in great detail until I get this vetted through our company, through ATS. But I would say just look for religious exemptions for your state or medical exemptions for your state. There are certain things that they're putting in the vaccines, and it's in all the vaccines that could be complicated with medicine you're taking, for example, or a condition you have. And once the doctor says, you ask them, is this compound or this element in the vaccine? And they say yes. You go, oh well, see, that's not going to work for me because I have this condition, so I opt out. Thank you very much. And then you just walk away. No discussion, no talking about it, because you've already determined that there's something that will conflict with your medical health, right? So, but I'm not going to get into that today. Maybe
Maxine mentioned it yesterday. Yeah, Maxine talked about it the other day about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get with ATS to make sure we get that clear before I put that out on the network. What it is I'm talking about.
I have one more point. I don't think I clarified it when I spoke about the story per se. This isn't a bashing against anyone that is going to take the vaccine or who has taken the vaccine. I just think the frustrating part for me, and I'm sure other individuals within the middle class can attest to this, is that there's just such a huge push for people to get the vaccine, or we'll go back to normalcy once you get the vaccine. But yet we're just hearing all of these horror stories about those who did get the vaccine. And also, I mean, let's just talk about like the flu vaccine and other vaccines that take time to really develop, to know, like to run tests, trials. It's just, there's been such a different approach. Like there's companies offering incentives to their employees if they get it. Like even at a family member's job, they're offering money for those who get red flag, red flag, red flag. Like, so the approach is, I think, one of the biggest frustrations, I think, for so many. And so anyone here or anywhere I have family members who get it, who have gotten the vaccine and, anticipate getting the vaccine. But my thing is, do not demonize me or anyone else who takes a stand of I'm not getting the vaccine for whatever reason. Even if you're an anti-vaxxer, you're a never this, you're a never that. Well, let me be that. Okay, let me be that.
Well, remember the days when in America, you could just be whatever you wanted to be, and that was just you. You just make your own choices. So it looks like, you make a good point that, it looks like there's this plan to roll people into one mode, do exactly what the government says. And that's what we want to push back on, whether it's vaccine or any other thing that we don't agree with. We have a voice, and we have a Bill of Rights, we have a Constitution. There's things that we're protected as the citizens of the United States. It gives us the ability to disagree. And we can disagree without being disagreeable. Right. And so that's where we want to get to is, if Telly has legitimate concerns and somebody else in the Congress doesn't, great. That's your life, your family. You do what you want to do. And we will pray that nothing happens to either one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way it works. And that's how we should be as American society. So anybody else want to chime in before we move to the next story?
I just have a question. I heard Marquis say something about Pfizer is now, because I did hear something about that they might. So it's like, okay, so you signed up, you said you needed to take the 2. So now, because you said that they said that you were going to have to take the 2, and now you went and got your second one, and they think that everything is okay. Now you have to go and take the 3rd one. So now it's like, because you actually started the process of just trying to go along with it, now you're already dug in. And now if you stop taking it, sound like you needed to take the second one in order to make the first one work. So now if you don't take the third one, what's going to happen? And
what it appears to be is that you have varying strains of this COVID virus going around, and they're making modifications on the fly. And so when they do that, they can say, hey, we can make this adjustment to cover for this particular strain. Now, mind you, every time they come out with a flu vaccine, it's for the previous year. So how in the world are they going to try to keep up with something that changes apparently as fast as this COVID-19? I don't trust none of it.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, because technically, guys, from a technical standpoint, it takes time. The folks that know how to do this says it takes years, folks, for stuff to come back for the results, let alone hours or days or weeks. So it's so important. But I want to make a quick point, guys, about this. Not everybody, we've got 300 million in the United States, 7 billion plus around the world. Not everybody's body's the same. Obviously, it sounds like everybody's body's the same. We don't need to take the same thing for everybody. Don't get me wrong, I'm not minimizing none of that. Everybody should make their own choice, ladies and gentlemen, but there's other methods to keep your body healthy. And that's what we want. We want you to make your own choices, but also get educated about what your body's doing, not doing, and you, of course, make the final decision on that. But we want you to think. That's what I'm getting at. We want you to think. That's what we were teaching our children, to think for yourself, get information, and make the decision best for you.
All right, America, we are the People's Congress, and we are bringing you information and education to empower you. And we want you to join in the conversation. You know, if you've heard something already that you're like, you know what, I got something I want to share. Look, feel free to share it, drop a link, you know, give us comments and help. If we're misstepping or we're saying the wrong thing, let us know. You know, we want to tell people the truth. And if we have to go and retract the statement in the future show, we'll do that. Because it's not just about us talking. We want to talk about facts. We want to talk about truth, because that's the only way you're going to get out of the middle class, is to be empowered and make it out. All right, so let's go to Adrian and talk about what's happening in the streets of Philadelphia.
man, all right. Governor Tom Wolf just activated the Pennsylvania National Guard. He said that they are anticipating the murder trial verdict of Derek Chauvin. And I understand we can go into the big thing, but they're anticipating to the point where everybody has now boarded up their buildings. Like, basically, a jury will decide whether Chauvin's actions is going to cause the death of George Floyd. We all understand that. But they're saying that because of the verdict about to come out, Philadelphia officials are just going to say, you know what, we are just preparing for this potential arrest. Like, we already know that it is happening. So, yeah, I can go on for days about the fact that we can prepare for something that is happening. The reason why I wanted to bring it to the exit and just say, hey, guess what? We don't have to keep letting people tell us about how we are going to react to something.
Come on, that's good.
Let's do a little bit better. And let's go the whole opposite way. And let's prepare for the worst. Not be so naive and be upset when things go wrong, when we already know that things may not seem to be the way that they are.
That's good.
I believe if you take this approach, you don't need guards. But because we have guards, there's a reason, and there's a story that says that because you see the guard, don't need the guard. Let's send the guards home because it was a waste of time. Let someone tell you that they were wrong in the anticipation of what it is. Stop letting someone be, stop letting the story, what does it say? Retroactive. We need to be proactive and not reactive. Mm-hmm. And if we already can anticipate this, like, I heard so many stories today of how we're just waiting on this justice to be served. And to me, it just sounded like the setup, because they're already sitting here waiting on us to act up. Mm-hmm. So then that means stop telling me that it's going to be great and we're waiting for it. Let's just say be real, be honest. Be diligent and pay attention. Talk to your people. Speak to your people. Congress, help me out. Because if it's not happening in your cities, Philadelphia, wake up, mindset.
Yeah,
we are in the Bible, y'all. Don't let them tell us that we're going to run another way. That's the city that shows up in the back. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you a question. When's the verdict supposed to come out?
They say supposedly Tuesday. They're looking for a Tuesday of this week. So that would be, and the funniest part is, I don't know if anybody else knows it, but Tuesday is the actual date of 420. So, for all of those,
go ahead, say it.
For all of those that have anything to do with the cannabis of anything, 420 is a national holiday for something that we all like. Well, if you partake, you would love to do it on 420. So because of the fact that they are anticipating that this trial is going to come out on the day where we all supposed to be lit up.
Okay. Look, now I'm gonna just be straight with you because we're not playing games. That's National Weed Day, right? So that's National Weed Day, right? So most people who smoke weed in states where marijuana, where marijuana is legalized. As a matter of fact, in some states it's about to happen, like in July. I think Virginia's going to happen in July. Some states where that happens, where it's legalized, and even states where it's not, they know it's National Weed Day. So that is the day where people who do that will be, partaking. And I'm gonna just tell you right up front, that's something that I don't do. I used to do when I was younger, but if you think about the setup, they're trying to get the country, or those people in the country, those users, on the day where they're going to celebrate getting high, to get high and find out a verdict that may not be in their favor and not even be in their right minds to be able to react properly. Now that's definitely a setup. So just be careful. Be careful. And look, parents in the message, know where your kids are at and control your kids. I saw a black mama when the riots happened. She went down and got her boy out the riots, snatched his tail. He didn't know what was coming. Even the people around him was like, "Ooh!" And yeah, she snatched that boy out that riot.
And nobody messed with the mama either. Nobody messed with the mother.
Oh, they understood. What'd you say, Jerome?
That was in Baltimore. Mama don't play. Come
on now. If you love your kids, protect your kids. That's all we're saying. If they're going to protest, be with them and help them protest correctly, peacefully, with their voice. Don't let them get caught up by these people who use them as pawns. So they don't care if your kid lives or dies. They just use them, to agitate the police so they can get shot.
And the media does not waste time so they can parade that child's blood through the streets. They don't waste time.
The negative.
And this goes for the media, the politicians. They will use that bloodshed as cannon fodder for the advancement of their own agenda.
Right. And it's called, and you got to know, middle class, is that Mexican, you need to know that we're at war. We're at war for the lives and the minds of the people in America.
Yes, we are.
And if you don't know that you're at war, you're going to find out fairly soon, because it will come to your front door and it'll be too late. We're just trying to wake you up right now. We want you to be empowered and educated. Because this thing is happening, and there's different things that brings it out. And you see different things that will start bringing out that there's an issue in the middle class, there's an issue in the world. But if you don't take the time to get educated and do something now while you can, it's going to be too late when you really want to do something. Go ahead, Adrian.
I just wanted to say, they attempted to do it in Philadelphia before with the National Guard. And Philadelphia, they really acted as if the National Guard was in a parade. And they were completely like waving. They didn't know what to do. So I can say that the first time that we saw the National Guard, they didn't even react because they were so far removed from the real criminality of why the Guard was there. So,
and the National Guard is not our enemy
already. So because of the fact that they passed already, now they're like, okay, well, let's anticipate it so that we can do it. So everything that you guys just said is right. Because
but you got to keep in mind that the National Guard is not our enemy. Matter of fact, a lot of them are our family members, our neighbors. Right. So don't let whatever's happening in the world cause you to kill your neighbor or friends and family. You know what I'm saying? We got to know that they got their own families. They're doing their job, right? So just be careful out there, people. All right, before we move on, let's talk about how do you think that the people can protect and get ready for this verdict that's about to come out? And I will say here, just a little note, you may be watching this this show after it already happened. So just keep that in mind. We're talking about something that happened a verdict is about to come out, I think, on next Tuesday. And so go ahead. We're in April, matter of fact. It's April. What's today's date? The 18th, 19th? 19th?
18th, 19th. One of those days.
Oh, it's the 18th. It's the 18th. All right.
18th.
All right. All right. So go ahead. Where we at? Who got something?
I love it. Hey, real quick, guys. I'll just chomping at the bit to get on top of this, but I'm going to use this example. I want to get your feedback on this because I was observing how do we prevent stuff from happening, like Adrian was talking about, how to prevent it getting in the setup. I'm going to use me as an example. Say, for example, I'm the head of all the organizations that are going to protest. One thing I did not get is a call from the leaders to come talk about the situation. I have not seen where they actually had the leaders of these organizations that are in the streets in the office trying to communicate to understand what their needs are and what their voices are as well. So when that happens, you don't communicate with me, I'm going to engage in some things, hopefully nonviolent, of course. I'm talking about nonviolent stuff, but I'm going to be in the streets doing my thing because you didn't give me a call about being part of the solution instead of part of the problem.
So to that point, you know, when we're at war, you know, the generals sit back and the admirals sit back in their comfy little rooms,
right,
and they figure out what the casualty of war is going to be. There's a certain amount of soldiers they're willing to let die to push their campaign forward. And so that's the thing that we're seeing right now is that in America, where we've never, you know, Civil War was something in the history books. Civil War, I mean, like, you know, what's that? We got to study that, right? You know, a battle in the streets, you know, people set things on fire. The only time that happens is when the team wins and the city destroys itself because they're so happy, right? Never have we seen it in this context before. This is something that's recent, but it is a strategy that they're now rolling out to the America and causing these reactions. And now, because for me, the test was this. The test was he got killed. The first riot happened. They saw what happened. Now it may be a situation where they're going to try to now create another one, and that's why they're not talking, because their people already got their marching orders on both sides. We're gonna riot like this, and the cops are like, well, we're gonna do this, and the military's like, we're gonna do this. So the key is for you not to get caught up in the middle of that, and your family not to get caught up in the middle of that. And the other thing is turn off the news, because the news is not telling you the answers to the problems. They're promoting the agenda of the plan. And if you don't believe me, I will show you a video of 40 news anchors saying the exact same thing at the same time when this thing happened. Now, if you think, oh, no, it's not a conspiracy, there's no way that 40 people could say the exact same script with all the passion they have and all the concern about the people and all of them are actors and they're paid. And you better wake up or you're going to be caught up. Maxine, you got something?
I'm just sitting back here thinking the same thing, Stephen, because that's exactly what we talked about yesterday. It's the slow ripple effect, you know, and they want the individuals to play into it. They are setting the stage. If you haven't thought of it, they're helping you to think of it so that you can react to it. And we're sitting here telling you don't react to it. Think about it, strategize. If you want to be a part of the solution, make it what? Friendly. Make it where you can have a voice. It does not have to always be destruction. You know, so where can you advocate for the right way, doing the right things and thinking the right thoughts? Because if I go back and start thinking about our young people, once it's on your record, it's going to affect you for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. And they'll let you pillage and riot and everything. All the people that were running to all those Targets and Walmarts and free TV, they caught everyone on camera. They know whoever, they live in the same community. They went and rounded all of them up. They all got records now. So that's something that you really got to be concerned about, because that, again, is a part of, you know, let them destroy themselves. We're going to give them the tools. We're going to drop off all the guns, all the bricks, because in the last riot, videos popped up. Bricks were being dropped off just outside the zone where the riots were going to occur, and people were catching the people dropping off the bricks. Like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you dropping off these bricks here? There's no bricks around here, you know. And other people were doing things like I mean, I don't even want to get into it, but there are people who will come amongst the crowd who has a good intention, and they will incite those who have no education to do something in the midst of that crowd to cause that whole direction to change. And when people get frustrated and they feel like no one's helping, they get desperate, and that's when this stuff starts happening. Marquis, what do you got?
See, when stuff like that happens, you got to realize it's psychological. We as humanity, and then broken down into the subsects of like color, religion, and yada yada, we've all been studied, and the powers that be know what will tick off each group.
Yes.
And they use that to their advantage, such as all the riots that we saw last year. You know, with BLM, people don't realize that those are two different groups. You have Black Lives Matter, which is the statement, and then you have the actual group. The group is a socialist network of people who wants to tear down Western society.
Yeah, the anarchists.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the Black Lives. I'm sorry.
And maybe they look like us, maybe they don't. But as the saying goes, every brother ain't a brother,
and every sister ain't a sister. And
you gotta like you said, you gotta educate yourself to know what's going on, because when these little psyops happen,
come on, you said a big word.
One bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
Yeah,
and like the lady who got shot up in DC. She didn't go there to get shot, but because she got sucked up, she now has her blood spilled all over DC.
Yeah, it's sad. That's sad.
It is sad, but
that's what happens
caught up.
That's what happens when you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and unfortunately, when you are exercising your rights you have the freedom to protest, you have the freedom to assemble, you have the freedom of speech. She was exerting her freedoms, and unfortunately, there were people in the crowd that caused this reaction, and she got caught up. And she's a victim and casualty of the war that we're talking about. And all we're saying here, Maxine, is that, look, we want you to be safe. We got to get there together. The only way to get there together is we got to be in agreement and be educated. If I'm grabbing up my family and my kids and we're running through, whatever's happening, and I see somebody else's kids or somebody else on the ground, I'm not running past them. I'm lifting them up to get them up and moving. It's not just about me and mine. Why? Because if we fall, I want somebody to be there for us. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do right here, is to be here for you in this issue. And this is something that is coming, and hopefully, and prayerfully, it won't be another riot. There won't be any more people dying. Enough people have already died since the beginning of this thing. But what we want to do is make an educated decision that empowers our people, all walks of life. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter whether you black, white, green, purple, or blue. It doesn't matter what color you are. What matters is that you are part of the human race. We are the same. We bleed the same. No, everybody's blood is red. Our skin might be different colors, but you know what? We all bleed red. So we're all the same, and we have to look out for each other. All right, so let's move on. And Vicky, did you already get a story?
I haven't put my story out there yet. All right. Well, this one switches gears quite a little bit. And now I need you to know that every time we have brought this up consistently all week long, and I don't understand the cryptocurrency so much, but I'm gonna report on it because I want to keep talking about it. Every time I get on this panel, I learn like 2, 3, 4 new facts about this process. So you know what? I'm gonna throw in the little bit that I know and just let it roll with the panel, see what else we can learn.
All right.
So in Miami, essentially, there are some officials that hope to launch a crypto task force. Because as we are seeing, residents can start paying, taxes in Bitcoin. IRS is going to be able to tax cryptocurrency. And so essentially, the mayor of Miami, really supports the idea of the city holding Bitcoin in the treasury and allowing tax payments on a citywide level for Bitcoin as well. So I think that's, we saw PayPal is starting to do the cryptocurrency. So we're seeing on national level. Now we're seeing, Miami more, regional, statewide, kind of thing. So what do we think, y'all? All
right, Congress. So what are your thoughts on cryptocurrency? I'm actually trying to look up the definition. All right, I'm gonna give you the definition. I found it. Here we go. All right. Cryptocurrency or crypto is a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange, asset meaning like money or something like that. Exchange, where an individual coin ownership records records are stored in a ledger existing in the form of computerized data. Okay, so that means no more paper money. It's something that is a digitized type of money, and then that money just actually, it's in essence, it's the same exact thing as if you work a job and you're set up for direct deposit. You never see that cash come to your hands. It goes from the business owner to your bank account, and you never see it. It's an electronic transfer of funds, and those funds sit in that bank in digital form. It's not real money until you go to the bank and do like an ATM withdrawal. You get cash. But even if you don't do that, if you use your card to buy something online, you tell your bank to send electronic currency to PayPal or to Amazon or to wherever the product or service you're trying to buy, and you never see the money. It's all digitized. They're trying to do a total kind of cashless environment where it's all digitized. All right, thoughts on cryptocurrency?
Oh, that's powerful, Stephen. You're right on the money there, man. This is one of my favorite subjects, is a technology, if you will. Real quickly, you hit it right on the head. It's all about the data, folks. And I won't give you a quick example, the one I have anyway. For example, right now we got the dollar, right? We go to the Dollar Tree and buy something. Guess what? They don't know what I purchased outside of the receipt. They don't really know what I purchased with the dollar outside of the receipt. With the cryptocurrency, guys, they're going to know exactly what you purchased and how much you purchased, when you purchased it, what time you purchased, how much you're consuming every month, every week. I don't care if it's icicle pops to your soda pop to your bathroom tissue. That's the difference, folks. They're going to track every cotton picking thing that you purchase, no matter what it's for. It could be your braids. It could be my haircut. It could be stuff for my wife that I purchased. They're going to know it, actually everything in my household before I even know about it. It's amazing.
That's good. That's good. So that, again, we're talking about aggregating data. So when we we're always talking about AI and the advancement of AI, that'll be kind of the stuff that'll be in those algorithms in terms, they're already doing it on Facebook. I mean, I've been in media and advertising for 30 years. And so they're tracking us through our cell phones. They know what your dwell time is inside of a building that you go in just through your cell phone alone. So there's a lot of things they're already tracking. But Kevin, you make a really good point, because now they're going to know not only where you go, but what you buy, which means that from a marketing standpoint, people can buy that data and know how to, send you information or put a pixel on your phone and follow you and give you offers that you're looking for. But still, it can be used for good or bad. And that's something that we need to know about, but it's not like you can stop it, to be honest with you, because we don't control, commerce. We don't control the rollout of technology in America or the world, but you can manage it. So there's ways to manage that, and we got to really look at it. But cryptocurrency is a good direction to go. Yes, Adrian, what you got?
I'm hearing you. Now we've, like Vicky said, all week we've been talking about crypto. We've been talking about how things are changing. We're talking about, like Miss Maxine said, you don't even know that things are happening until it's too late. And it's an easy transaction. It makes things easier. So that means we're spending more money because now it's easy to just get it. You don't have to go somewhere or pull up the account and find the account, or you could just do it. It seems like it's just too easy to just spend monies that we really don't have.
It's true, and it's taking the control out of your hands, because think about it. If you can't get to your money, then you can't control your money. I mean, what's to say at some point that, there used to be this term run on the banks, where, things would happen in the world and the banks would just shut down, like you can't even get to your money. But everything's electronic, and if it's electronic, there are countries whose jobs are to try to infiltrate, American, businesses and try to get to the banks to do cyber attacks. And so that's a concern, but that's something that they have to work on. They have to figure out, because if they do go to a total digital system, what happens if there's a national grid shutdown, right? Those are kind of concerns.
But they are doing it. There is no such thing as what happens if they talking about breaching this and breaching that. So you mean to tell me that everything is now breachable? And because you put us in there to the point where it's our currency, and you said, what kind of toilet paper you're using. I mean, you have no privacy. He said they're gonna know how much I pay for my hair and when I get it.
they're gonna know. They're gonna know where what you're doing. But again, it's a computer that will be doing all these calculations, and we have yet to understand the implications of that. But we do know by watching movies that some of that can be used very, very to the detriment of the people that are in the country. So, all right. So, anybody else on cryptocurrency? And Vicky is trying to learn something about it. People, let's try to give her a little nugget before we leave on out.
Yeah, the problem that I have with cryptocurrency is that it's very volatile. I mean, I have some. I'll have to show it to you at another time, but I have some just because I like to dabble. In the not too distant past, Bitcoin was only $3,000. Now it's up to $59,000. If you would have gotten in at the bottom, you'd be kind of stinky rich right now. You know, so
Yeah.
I mean, and the predictors say that Bitcoin is going to skyrocket up to $100,000. Do you believe it? Probably not. But when it happens, you're going to smack yourself in the face because you could have got on. You could have got in when the getting was good.
Yeah, you got to take the ATS Bitcoin class. Now I'm going to do it for real. Now that we had this show, I'm going to go ahead and jump in there and get that knowledge because we need to know that so that we can empower others to do the same thing. There are other things on the horizon. Bitcoin is just the beginning. That's just the first. That's the gateway currency. But there's Litecoin coming. There's so many different things that's coming that you got to be educated. You got to know what's going on.
Stephen, I've heard that Bitcoin is like Napster because we talked about Napster the other day.
Right.
I heard Bitcoin is likened to Napster, and it's going to go the way of Napster, and the one that's going to come up to replace Bitcoin will be much cleaner, much smoother, and everything else. And I believe that's probably either XRP or Ethereum. I can't remember which one, but I took the liberty. I got me a little coin. So when that sucker flips over,
I think it's called Ethereum. I'm sorry,
Ethereum, yeah.
America. I have my mom in the back who invests in stocks. So every time you're talking, she's throwing out answers.
Hey, that's what we like.
That's mom's right there.
Bitcoin.
You have to have her as a guest.
Right here. So I'm like, yeah, Ma, let me go on mute because we're online.
That's good.
So Vicky, I will encourage you. You don't need a lot. Just get a little and just research because there's a lot going on that is really not in front of people's minds, such as what I just said. Bitcoin might go the way of Napster. And so you want to be on the train that's going to go up. And as soon as it does go up, you're going to be like, huh.
All right, so let's talk about this. We're going to talk about this off the air. But I do want to say right here that we might do the People's Congress Investment Club and pull our resources and together get in on this thing with Brother Marquis. But yeah, that's what we want to do. And we want to make sure that we're taking the time to get educated because it is Brexit. It's the middle class exit, and you gotta get this information through ATS. ATS is and you know what? It's going to be the only place you can go to get as much education as possible for you and your family for less than $100. You better get in on it before it goes up to $59,000 per person, like Marquis was saying. All right, so let's jump to Maxine. Maxine, what do you got? What's your story?
All right, so the next story is Apple. Apple. They have this event that's coming up in I want to say I forgot when it was going to coming up, but it's going to be coming up soon. And what they're talking about is what are they going to be announcing? What are they going to be showing? They have like the Apple TV. You know, it's time for them to make some changes to the Apple TV. Is this one of the technologies that they're going to present at the event that's going to be happening? And then AirTags. I had not heard AirTags. So I'm not totally aware of what that is, but it says something about it's the busiest product in the rumor mill. It's a potential debut of AirTags, a towel-like Bluetooth locator that attaches to and helps you find items such as your keys, your wallet, laptops, and even your car.
Tracking. We're talking about tracking people on a level you've never seen it before. I attach one of them bad boys to my kids and be like, where you go? No, you didn't. Look at the AirTag on you. I see it right here on my phone. Stop lying. So let's talk about it, people. We got to be careful. But anyway, AirTag sounds like people lose their keys. And you know what? For real, people losing their car, that's no joke. I don't know if you ever went to a concert or a place where there's like a zillion cars and you know you knew where you parked at, and you had to walk around that place. You kept walking because you couldn't find your car. That's a good idea.
Listen, I'm saying just a parking deck for me. Sometimes I'm like, what level did I leave this car at?
I literally turn around and take a picture of the sign D14. Like, bam.
Now I do. Now I do.
Yeah, you got to do it. That's how you stay safe. But so Apple, for me, I'm not an Apple guy. I'm not in the in crowd for Apple. But is there anything else that they're doing that's going to be significant to the middle class?
Yes, the iPad. The iPad Pro is coming out. That's the biggie. That's the one that they're gonna really drop. And all the kids are using iPads. We talked about technology and how people will drop tons of money to stay up with the technology. And we talked about our middle class. Let's put our money into some other things as self-development, helping our kids become aware, helping them to start a business. So do you really need a new iPad? Do you really need all these new technologies that's going to be on the iPad that you probably would never use all of them?
All right, so y'all, I'm telling you, my gift kicked in again. I'm telling y'all, look at this strategy. Look at this strategy.
That's it, Stephen. Talk about it.
About 15 to 20 years ago, Apple gave free laptops to schools, middle schools. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is so nice of them. Yeah. Wow. And now we move 15, 20 years later. Look at how many of those kids are Apple loyal. Like, I know this. I got a laptop. Mm-hmm. I got an iPad. I got an iPhone. They're loyal because they got it for free when they started learning. Mm-hmm. That's the strategy. If you can get them young, you can get them for life. Mm-hmm. That's a marketing strategy. I'm the marketing man. So I'm telling you guys, what we got to do is we got to start getting to the youth with education now to empower them now so that 15, 20 years later, they're part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And if you think about it, ATS, and this is the thing that hit me, ATS offers free courses. There are some courses that are absolutely free. So why don't you get to ATS, you get those free courses, take them for yourself, then send a link out to all your friends and family members. Those are all gifts. Why? It's free education. Send it out to them. Have them sit down with their young people in their family, their children, their nephews and nieces, and go through the courses with them because it's free. Get that. And of course, there's courses you have to buy on different levels, but they're all less than $100 for like a whole bundle of them. So look, don't trip. Get educated. Get connected so you can see what's out there for you at ATS. We're not joking with this thing. When we talk about we want to empower and educate the public on the things that they need to know to be successful in the future, that's what ATS is doing with all of these courses that we have. Yep. We'll be talking more about those courses later on. Hopefully, we can even have a guest, a surprise guest. I'm not going to say who it is, but hopefully we'll have a surprise guest who will drop in on a future show and give everybody a rundown on that information. All right, so let's talk about that. Anybody have anything on Apple? Any thoughts on Apple and what they're doing?
Oh, real quick, guys, I had to mention about that. I looked it up real quickly, Maxine, about that AirPod. It's basically a tracking device. I think Stephen mentioned it. It's just basically a tracking system. And a quick example of that would be I had my phone. I lost my phone a while back, guys, and I was able to trace it right down. Actually, it fell off. I left it on top of the car. It fell off the car about maybe a mile or so from here. I didn't know where it was, but I was able to track that all the way up to where it fell off the car at. And I got it.
Wow.
That powerful. So that's the type of tracking that's coming and is available through that type of thing. So it's going to be interesting because we're not going to have a lot of controls. But what's interesting, guys, is that if you steal something from my house, guess what? I'm going to know where it's at.
That's funny. Not only will you know where it's at, but the people who sold the product to you will know where it's at as well. So exactly. you got to keep that in mind. Be careful what you have tracked. But we do need it on certain items, though, for real. Who has something else on that? I thought I heard somebody's voice.
The last thing I was going to say about this is that this is going to take place tomorrow. So, but it's only going to be on their website, YouTube, and the Apple TV. So they're going to control it that way as well.
Okay, so within their community, they're going to roll that thing out. All right, Adrian, what you got?
I was just going to say, when you're an Apple, you're an Apple. When you're in the eyes, you're in the eyes. So just like Miss Maxine just said about the community, they do things in their community. They will even give you broken stuff because they know that they love them that much. Like Apple will give you the broken one, the ones that have the glitches. They know that they have another one coming out. They got a 9 sitting on the table, but 12 is on its way. So they know if they sell 9 tomorrow, they can sell out on 9 tomorrow, and then everyone will be hype about 9. They'll tell you about 10, but then tell you there's a glitch in 10, and then say they're not going to release 10, but tomorrow, next week, you'll get 11. And they'll all buy them. So you're right. Maybe that's how they got them from the beginning when they were kids, but there's like a whole community. Like, you know, iRobot, that thing was really real. Because iRobot, them things is iPhones, iPads, iPods, earbuds, all of it. And it's just like, but we just be liking to be entertained and stuff. But just to hear a story like that, it says, they're going to do it tomorrow, just for tomorrow, on their own thing. So it's like news, but not our news. It's only privy, so we know that we're missing out on something. Middle class.
Yeah.
Y'all better stop. And y'all better stop buying them for your children. Because the thing don't even work. It's like this Maxine said. There's no new update on that thing that they have added something new that you actually are going to use, because you never used it on the last one.
That's true. And that is true.
A lot right there. That was true. They're adding it. It's a new button. You ain't never gonna hit it because you never hit the last one. But everybody will before it comes out.
It's true. My wife gets upset at me because when the new ones come out for it, we have no 10 plus, and you know, we had the same phone. So when the new updates come, she said, "Did you do the update?" I'm like, "Nope." And I'll wait even to the next update, because every time I do an update, my phone messes up. And I'm like, I'm not trying to have problems with it's not broke. Why am I trying? And then they force you, and then they make glitches start happening on your phone to force you into it. But anyway, just know what's happening out here, people. They're not about just selling your product once. They want to sell you and sell you and sell you. And if you're not buying enough apps, then they know they got to come get you, because you got to buy another phone. So,
Stephen, I can't help but to tie this in. You all said tomorrow is 4/20, right? Oh no, tomorrow is 4/19. Oh, yeah. Good thing they're not launching it on 4/20.
Oh my gosh. Yep. Be careful, people. Just know that
they wouldn't have got to sell. They wouldn't have got to sell that day. They had to do it the day before, because if it was 4/20, then it makes people have to make decisions, and they're not gonna make a decision like that. So they'll get the phone before, spend half of the money that they already know that they don't have, and then tomorrow on Tuesday they'll be stuck. But it's 4/20, so they'll be just going for it anyway.
Yeah, just know that this is a plan that's rolling out, and something I thought about was, you know, a lot of the states that are releasing all these extra funds for people, it's helping people who are desperately in need of help, and they've needed help for a very, very long time. And so we're definitely not looking down on that. But at the same time, you know, there has to be a strategy to come out of needing help. You have to figure a way to get self-sufficient, get sufficient within your community. You know, I was talking with a guy today, and he was telling me that he's working a commission-only job. And the last 3-4 jobs I heard him talk about were commission-only. He never stayed, and he never really got paid. And he's like, I just need a job. And I just looked at him like, so, and I had to deal with that middle-class mentality. I said, "Do you just want to get paid?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "So you want a weekly paycheck?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know there are people right now that can't even find quality employees? So you sitting up here telling me a grown man, healthy, that you keep getting straight commission jobs. No, you get that because that's what you want." Because he said, "Well, I guess I could look online." I said, "No, look. Get in your car and go knock on some doors and ask for managers when you go in building. Can I speak to the manager, please? Are you looking for a good employee? Somebody that's going to show up and work. I'm your guy." I guarantee you do that one day, you're going to get hired that day. Because people getting tired of hiring people who call in, "I'm sick, it's on the weekend, I can't come in." They need people who are going to work. If they're open, they need workers. They need honest workers. They need hard workers. So get out there and work and stop making excuses. There's not a shortage of money. It's a shortage of people motivated properly to get out there and get it. So stop complaining, and don't listen to people complaining. That stuff gets in you. As soon as they start talking, stop them. Like, I'm the wrong person for you to be talking like that. I know too much. I'm a part of Mexico. They're Mexican. What's Mexican? That's the middle class exit. What do you mean? We're exiting from that knowledge that you just gave me. That's dumb. We ain't doing that. We're going to lift up, we're going to go up, and we're going to get out. That's what it's about. So let's help empower other people to do just that. All right, so let's move on to Telly rocking like the old grandma. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. I'm listening to you. All right, so let's go on to the next story. And Jerome, you got it.
The next story has to do with the automobile industry, folks. For those of out there who may not be aware, there is a shortage of semiconductors in the automobile industry. Yes, and it is based in none other than China. The majority of the semiconductors that are produced for automobiles are produced in China. So guess what's been going on, folks? And you don't know about this because I didn't know about this until today, is that they've slowed down the manufacturing of automobiles because of the shortage of semiconductors.
Sure.
And so the overseas companies, as well as the companies in the U.S., are up in a tizzy because they can't get out as many cars as they want to get out and sell because there's not enough semiconductors. I say, what in the world? And then what goes through my brain is this, because China's the major manufacturer of these semiconductors. Don't we owe them, and doesn't America owe them a whole lot of money?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't we owe them a whole lot of money?
Yes, we do.
So now here we are, manufacturing, building vehicles, trying to make money, and the same people we owe all this money to are in a position where, I mean, is there really a shortage out there? I don't know.
Oh, not in China. They have it in China. There's a shortage coming to America. That's where the shortage is.
Yeah. And they are controlling it. So if they're controlling it, how do I know that there is a real shortage? And how can I prove that there isn't? Because in their country, a lot of the information on all levels, religion, business, you name it, is controlled by the government.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was a
I mean, they're a communist country. I mean, you know, that's what they do. So let's not, you know, they're not a democracy like America. So you really can't even look at it in that context. Right. The other thing, too, is that you got to realize something, that China, they're very, like I said before, you know, I give a lot of props to China and India, to be honest with you. But China is very strategic in what they do. They're very strategic in what they do. And a long time ago, they came over to America and they started buying up companies and investing in stuff and lending money and doing, you know, becoming, you know, they're really being a good friend to America at the time. And now we're at a place where China has become someone we've looked at as, you know, a possible enemy, you know, because, you know, we got hackers hacking in China from China. We got violations of, you know, different treaties that are occurring in, you know, different parts of the world. China's building islands in the middle of, you know, fairways where people are doing commerce and blocking land ports. I mean, there's a lot of things China is doing to say, look, we about to take over. Part of that is making us dependent on them for some of the products they make. You know, the whole term made in China, that's not a joke. We've been joking. They have not been joking. When it says made in China, it means you need us. And this is one of those moments where they're saying, look, keep calling something the China virus if you want. Biden, keep messing up when we have meetings with you and saying something crazy. Like every president, they better stop messing with China. China's no joke. For every one American, there's 3 people in China's army. That's just in the army alone. Yep. So they better stop messing with China. China's not playing. They're trying to tell them, look, we're going to choke you all out right here so you can get right. Absolutely. We need to figure that out. Either we're going to become independent and become a manufacturing station again, where we create our own products, or we're going to continue to have this problem and China's going to have the upper hand. All right, Congress, what do we got?
Hey, real quick, just looked up the number to answer the question about how much the U.S. owes China. It's probably way bigger than this, but $1 trillion right now. Plus.
Oh, we just drove a check for that. I mean, we've been doing that like almost weekly here. So, we got that. Oh, it's definitely way bigger than that, by the way.
Yeah, it's way bigger than that. That's just a quick number,
Yeah, way bigger than that. But thanks for looking that up. Appreciate that fact. We're looking at facts out here. We want to know what's true. So what do you guys think about China? Marquis, what do you got?
I could never understand, and I may have said this before, I could never understand why we deal with China in the first place. I mean, I know it's the bottom line. However, I'll be 50 in August. And I remember as a child, Russia, China, enemy. What's the problem? We have mayors, we have governors that go over to China to shake hands to make the deal. I thought they were the enemy. We here in America have a very short view of the future. We have our future goes in 4 or 8 year increments, while theirs, they go in 50 to 100 year increments. So just because we don't see it right now doesn't mean that it's not going to happen 25 years from now. So so we need to be very careful how we handle. I agree with you. We need to be very careful how we handle China. I suggest that we here in this group, we need to just formulate a strategy to where we can just create the stuff ourselves and do away with China altogether.
All right. One thing we are about
problem with that.
One thing we are about here at Maxine is disrupting things.
There you go.
So, I mean, that point is very valid. But to answer your question as to, what's this relationship between the U.S. and China, where did that come from? It comes from cheap labor.
Cheap labor.
Where it comes from. Because in America, when we were building things, we had to pay people. And we had to pay them for their expertise. And those companies started getting greedy and they said, look, we can't continue paying all these employees that kind of money. How can we make more money for the stockholders and for ourselves? Cheap labor. Send it over to China, send it over to India. And that's part of why we're in the position we're in right now. But the real issue comes down to greed. It comes down to greed. If you are not investing in your own nation, then how can the people in the nation rise up and be powerful? One thing that China does, and other nations do this, Africa, they're now getting the strategy, even though we need to cover this story. China has infiltrated Africa. They have bought up land, they're building businesses, and they are also other things that are happening, and I'm not going to say yet, but there are things happening, and China's just getting shored up because they're running out of natural resources. And a lot of people don't know that. 30 years ago, I started looking at that. When my son was born, I showed him a documentary, and they were showing that China is running out of natural resources because there's like so many. Kevin, look it up. How many people are in China? So, there's so many people in China that they don't have all the food they need, all the water they need, all the gas. They don't have everything they need. They're very smart, but we don't have it. Let's go buy it. Let's go make friends with the people that got it. So now they're over in Africa doing exactly the same thing until the middle class, who has the power, by the way, we are the people, until we get together and say, look, as a strategy, we're only going to buy from ourselves. Why? Because it's called group economics. If it's needed and we need semiconductors, well, you know what? Adrian and Vicky, why don't y'all go start a company and all of us invest in it, and then we'll buy them from you. You see what I'm saying? That's the strategy, is how do we empower our people to give us what we need so that we do not have to be dependent on anyone else outside of ourselves. All right, Kevin, what you got?
Yeah, real quickly, guys, approximately 1.5 billion folks on the planet over there.
1.5 billion. There's 7 billion people on the planet, and 1.5 billion of them live in China. All right. China was growing so fast, they had to limit their people to having one child per couple.
That's right.
Okay, that tells you something about the population. So, there's a lot of things we can learn from that. We're not going to be able to cover it all today, but we are beginning to get into that story, which is important. We want to get into these facts because it impacts what's happening in the middle class. Yes, so we want to be able to use that and empower our people. So, all right, Kevin, you got it. You got it. What's your next story?
Oh, thank you so much, guys. Well, this is good stuff, guys. Y'all give yourself a hand. This is some good stuff, man. I know that. Man, I tell you, we got to talk about this. Just because of the time, I'm going to just break these down real quick. 3 top middle class issues. Ooh, we talking about the middle class now. I love it, man. Real quickly, I'm going to give you the titles first, and I'll come back to the quick topic there. Growing wages, surviving paycheck to paycheck, and then soaring healthcare costs. And Stephen, I want to take one at a time because of the time mainly, so we can stop. We have to go through all of them right now. But anyway, real quickly, guys, the U.S. has experienced one of the longest running bull markets in its history. Yet, 40% of Americans recently said they couldn't cover an expense of $400. Come on now, $400. They couldn't cover. Something happened where they needed $400. Oh, mama mia. So we talking about that. Even as the White House boasts about creating the strongest economy in decades with record low unemployment rates, financial markets reaching new highs, many middle-class Americans say they feel left behind or find that they are having to run harder to stand still. Holy moly.
Goodness.
That is incredible. So the first topic area is growing wages. Real quickly, the middle-class families without high returns of investments and so forth, don't keep up with the cost of living. Middle-class families generally feel the impact the hardest. We already know that. That's the first part of that. Slow growing wages, Stephen. Amazing.
Okay. All right, let's talk about it, Congress. Let's talk about it. How do we feel about that, Maxine?
Well, I did a study probably about a month or so ago, and I did it basically to understand what are the wages as far as the dollar. And when it comes to minority, especially Black women, African-American women, they make 75 cents to that $1 of a white man. 75 cents. The white woman makes 81 cents. The Black man makes 85 cents. So that shows you right there that slow and grow, it starts even when they are paying them their salaries. Now, when we start looking at that diversity and inclusion, we feel that they are promoting African-American women in these high positions. But what we don't know is, are they paying them the money?
Good point.
Are they getting the salary along with those titles?
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so who else has something? Oh, Jerome, you got something?
No, I was just saying, damn.
Okay, I saw you unmuted, so I didn't know what you was going to give up. All right, so what you got, Adrian?
I just have a question because that is true. Yeah, damn is right. Because the truth of the matter is right about now. Has it changed? Like within the last year and a half, I say to be Black in America. Like it seemed like everything changed as of the middle of 2020. I'm not sure when the switch happened. By her saying what she said, I'm just asking this is a middle class maybe thought just sitting around the house, just like, damn, they did another one. It's another one here today. Does it seem like we're winning all of the awards? We're doing everything. It's just great to be Black right now. But you might not, like on that front, it's great to be Black. We're winning the awards. We're doing all of these things. But now that you just made it say like that, you mean to tell me that we're getting the promotion, but we're not getting the money?
Ooh.
Yeah.
So are we excited about being promoted?
That's how you fool ignorant people. Okay, there's 1,000 people of the same family group in a room, and they're pissed off because they feel like they're being taken advantage of. And the people outside the room say, you know what, before they come in here and kill us, we got to do something. So what they come up is a plan. We're going to take the oldest in the group and we're going to promote them and give them something as an award for standing up for what they believe in. They come into the room, they take the top 5 oldest. Not only are we going to give you an award, but we're going to give you some money because we appreciate what you're doing. And I tell you what, pick a couple of people in the room too you think deserve some stuff. We're going to give something to them. They've only affected 10 people in a room of 1,000. Everybody calms down. Grandpa got an award. They got some money. Oh, this is great. That's what they're doing. It's that bait and switch. Hey, we're giving you something and we're taking some over here. That's that strategy. Unless all people rise, then no one is really rising. Right? And that's what we got to look at is how is it affecting the world? And this is something that I said about when it comes to white people, when it comes to Black people and the diversity issue. As soon as this thing happened, it's a strategy to divide us. And people were saying there's not enough Black people on these boards and in these executive teams. You put some Black people in there. And my first thing was like, shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about. That's not what needs to happen because that doesn't change the culture. That puts a token person in a position where they have no power and no say. It changes nothing. I said, what you got to do is you got to do diversity training from the bottom to the top. And people need to earn their way into every position. Don't give nobody nothing. Why would you take a position from a white man or white woman that's been doing their job effectively and efficiently and they know what they're doing? Why would you just take it just to put a person of a different color in that spot? That's just as wrong as the other thing. You can't do that. 2 wrongs don't make it right. I told one group of executives, I said, what you do is if you have a qualified Black person, male or female, that you're considering to join your team because of diversity, then bring them on and create a similar position. Vice president over one region, vice president over another region. They have exactly the same power, exactly the same pay, and they both got to prove themselves. That makes the company stronger. That's how you do that. You don't just give position and title and no money, because then you're not really solving the problem. You actually now making the problem even worse because people think they're rising when they're not. They're actually pushing down people from joining in the issue. All right, Congress, what do we got in the last remaining minutes? What do y'all think about that?
I do have just a point with that. I have a point. Like, what to the point Miss Adrian said about like last year there just being this rise of blackness. Why did it take so long? Honestly, I mean, at that point, like, why did it really take so long? And as you mentioned, it's now people are doing it. I feel like out of pressure. It's not because you actually care, not because diversity is really a thing, but it's just you're just doing that to propagate diversity. And I mean, so all of a sudden, seeing all of these Black people, this, or even like on certain career websites, they have like these little hashtags. I mean, we talked about it earlier about like with Black Lives Matter, just relegating things to Black Lives Matter, promote Blackness. Why did it take you so long? Then all of a sudden, y'all all do it at the same time, and that's supposed to make me, you know what? My Blackness is feeling really fire right now. I'm feeling like so Black, like I'm just really happy. I don't feel any of that, like, because at that point, I know you really don't care. It's just all about the dollar signs. Has anybody seen that video, that viral video about where the money resides? Because it's really that, like, where the money resides. Like, it's not about like really promoting from within and seeing that there is a problem. Mm-hmm. It's just, okay, they're doing it. We're going to do that too. Get that done right away. Like it's not, you're not fixing the problem.
It's called virtue signaling. They're just joining in on the issue, but they're not changing anything.
Completely. Like these hashtags, what am I getting with a hashtag?
Nothing.
Am I just reduced to a hashtag?
Yeah, but if they really wanted to fix the problem, to answer your question on the front, the first question you said, why did it take so long? When you own something, you can do what you want with it. Yep. And if what you own acts up because something they feel like they don't have something, that's the only time you need to address that issue. Exactly. And the other time you own them, they're fine with their place, you're fine with your place. Yeah. So it just will happen that the people who were being affected got so pissed they started burning everybody's stuff up. Now we got to answer it. But guess what happened? As soon as the fires went down and the people went away and went home, now we're back to the streets painted with Black Lives Matter, but ain't no Black lives really matter.
No community development.
Same stuff still happening.
What am I supposed to skip down the yellow brick road, or excuse me, the yellow painted street? Like, come on.
Right. That doesn't change the issue. Matter of fact, even the Black Lives Matter, the people who own them are now under fire by their own people for the misappropriation of funds and stuff like that, which we can get into in a later show. But yeah, so that issue has not changed. Black people are still being hurt. And be honest with you, all people, Black, white, Chinese, Hispanic, everybody is still being hurt. The Black people are just the ones targeted right now. So we got to rise as a people. It's not about color. It's about our character. Who are we as a people? That's what's going to change where we're going. All right.
And the community.
Absolutely.
Don't forget about the community. Yeah.
If somebody's in your community that is white and they're being hurt, you got to jump up. I don't care what color you are. You got to deal with that. Why? Because it may be you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So stop tripping and let the other people get hurt. We all got to join in this thing together. That's the only way we're going to get there is together.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're at the end, close to the end. Let's go around and do our closing thoughts, closing stories. We do have just a little bit more time. So let's start with Vicky and then we'll go around to the rest of the group. Vicky, you got it.
All right. So taking another kind of left turn, I saw today or yesterday, actually, 3 astronauts returned from the International Space Station. So that is a very, very cool thing. We 3 people had been up since mid-October 2020, just came all the way back down successfully.
Okay. All right. Well, glad to hear that. That's a good thing because that doesn't always happen. All right. Next is Misunderstood Adrian. Look at her.
No, it doesn't always happen, but thank God that it did.
That's right.
I would say there's a story, but we're going to have to hit this another time because what's going on in Philadelphia with this nerd street gaming. Now, you know, we have to dedicate some time to gaming because the gaming is this new thing. I would just say that they decided they are coming to North Philadelphia. They coming straight to the heart of the hood. And they're it's just open for everyone that's gaming, but I think the youngest is like 6 years old.
Sure, they get paid.
I'm telling you, and because of the fact that we already know that the ATS is doing the same thing. So if you are involved with the ATS, you can start your children off early in the gaming and coding and everything else. But I just want you to know, if you're in the city of Philadelphia, Nerd City is coming on down Broad Street.
Yet another reason to go to ATS and check out the courses online. We do have classes to teach coding, and we are definitely getting into the gaming arena. And you want to get on the ground floor, we can help you do that. All right, Maxine, you got it.
Peloton. You know, everybody's wanting the treadmill and they wanted the bicycle. Well, they're resisting the federal recall because of the treadmill is tied to a child's death. And so you have to be very careful with those children being around any treadmill, not just Peloton, but any treadmill. And so they're resisting it. Why you think they're resisting it? One of the reasons is because the actual cost of a Peloton right now is running about $4,950. But in another 2 to 3 weeks, they're going to be rolling out one that's $2,450, half the price. And if they have to recall what they already have out there, what do you think is going to happen?
That's going to hurt them.
They're not going to want to purchase these new ones. So that's why they're resisting the recall.
Yeah, I understand that. Just from a business standpoint, you know, any product ever made can kill somebody. So, you know.
But what's the recall? What was the recall? The kid got on it and did what?
A child died.
The kid goes underneath it. It depends on the size and the age of that child. Yes, and so takes them right.
It's a tragedy. Our heart goes out to the family, but you know, it's up to the parents to be responsible for everything in their home. Everything in their home can hurt their children, so they got to be on that. Marquis, you got it.
I'm going to ride with Vicky on this one. I love the whole idea of going to space, coming out of space, surviving in space. I'm a big space guy, and when I was in the military, I was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas. And one of the most awesome sights I ever seen was the space shuttle being piggybacked on a 747. It banked over my head and it was so close, it seemed like I could have threw a rock and hit it. And I was awestruck. And so I bring that forward because we need a sense of wonderment. Even as adults, we still need to keep that childhood wonderment. I'm so childlike. When I was in South Texas in the oil fields, I would stop on the side of the road to take pictures of flowers. I mean, really. Yeah. And I would say to everybody, we really need to bring back innocence and a childhood curiosity about life, about living, about nature, about one another. And we probably all need just to do a reset.
Come on.
And just and that's all I wanted to bring forward, man, because life is too short not to enjoy something.
All right. Marquis is in the center square controlling the narrative. We appreciate that, brother. That's awesome. I'm down with the sense of wonder for everybody. All right.
They say you can't get in. You can't get in unless you're childlike. That's what they say.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I did that first one. All right, you got it. All right, Yamatelli, you got it.
So there is a major deficit in New York City restaurants. There is a worker shortage. There are a number of eateries that are being affected by the lack of help. Several owners have come forth and said that they have to either shut down operation completely or they have to reduce their hours greatly. One owner complained that he reached out to a fellow business owner who had contacts of over about 200 to 300 people, and not one person responded because a lot of people in New York are still collecting pandemic unemployment, and there's just no real push to really want to go back, especially maybe not in the restaurant business. So there's a lot of changes happening in New York City. The heart of the city is small businesses. Yes, there's upscale shopping, but there's so many restaurants that are often enjoyed by the locals that probably won't be open or maybe open at reduced hours. So a lot of change.
I wish we had that story on the inside, man. Boy, I got something for that right there. Because you know what? Let me tell you a real quick solution, because gift kicked in again. But this is a solution. I own a pizza shop. Marquise owns a pizza shop, and Maxine owns a pizza shop. Our employees are tripping. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shut down 2 stores. We're gonna make 1 store. We're gonna do a DBE, and we're gonna have together our workers work. Now we might individually not have enough workers, but collectively we got enough. And we'll build 1 brand and we'll launch it from there. But going out of business when you got that much knowledge, that much experience, and some people willing to work, the only thing that's not that needs to change is that the owners need to stop thinking about me and mine and start thinking about we and ours.
Right.
How do we save business? How do we keep this thing going in our community? Because the people want the food. It's just the workers aren't doing what they need to do, right? And then slowly build it. And once you get that one solid, open up another one together. Open up another one together, right? So there's a way. There's always a solution, but you got to come together when things get hard. You can't be an island to yourself because you will die. All right. So let's move on to Kevin. Kevin, you got it. Last few minutes.
Yeah,
you on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I was just taking some notes. Hey guys, I got to give you a quick example of this real quickly. I'm getting ready to go online right now. I'm going to order something, say a new webcam. Guess what? The next thing I want it at the door in 5 seconds. The supply chain is at mission critical, ladies and gentlemen. People wanting stuff on demand. So guess what? The supply chain rapid response will be mission critical for us. But what I wanted to mention to everybody is the fact that this is going to be an opportunity for us. So real quick, the COVID effect has basically showed that the supply chain, that means everything purchased, pretty much goods, services, and products is at a concern. So we know about that. Guess what? We don't have a plan, and we didn't have a plan, and we may not have a plan now for a worst case scenario. What happens if something else happens? Again, like this, not the COVID thing, but something else that shuts down half the planet. Again, what are we going to do about that? And lastly, ideas for reducing costs at minimal demand is high. So that means there's opportunity, guys, for us to figure out how to solve this solution. The supply chain's got to be fixed. Folks want their stuff on demand. I just ordered something. I want it right now. I want y'all ringing the doorbell in 5 minutes so I can get that item. Powerful. So we got to look at the supply chain opportunity to make sure our customers are happier.
All right, good point. And when it comes down to it, when you think about supply and demand, that's an opportunity for somebody to help out with that when it comes to logistics. If you got any ideas around that, look, hit us up at ATS. We might help you facilitate that idea. We're all about empowering people that's trying to help people. All right, what you got, Jerome?
I have to piggyback with Mr. Kevin.
All right.
One of the things that we've been talking about with these last few meetings has to do with us being educated and coming up with a game plan, talking about that mindset. I think that's so critical. And when we were talking about the kids earlier today, one of the things I thought about is we don't have to know the latest and the greatest. We don't have to be the smartest in the room, but our kids look to us as heroes. Our kids look to us as those who they rely on. And if we're engaged in their success, that means so much. If we don't have the information, we can go find it. We can Google it. We can network. But we've got to let our kids know how important they really, really are. And I think we need to do a better job of that. So, Kevin, thank you for really pushing that about education and coming up with a game plan. I think that's critical.
I got that from Maxine and Stephen.
Good point. Good point. Look, and on our next show, you want to be here because we're going to be talking about something very important. All of this is important, but Jerome has a leadoff story, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. That the six things.
6 things. Yes.
Go ahead. What's the title again?
If you've got $1,000 in your checking account, there's 6 things that you can do to put you in an advantage. 6 things come up in our next get together. Yes.
All right. This is the People's Congress, and look, we want to keep you informed, empowered, and inspired. And we look to see you on the next show. We'll see you the next time.